Okay. Okay, I'll call to order the regular meeting for February 6, 2024. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our mission statement is Learning for Life. Our vision statement is Southgate Community Schools, the best choice for students and parents. Brings us to the approval of the agenda. Motion. Sorry, go ahead.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support? Supported by Ms. Angel. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have an agenda. No presentations tonight. And for citizens' comments, I have Mr. Palowski.
Good evening. Long time no see. For anyone that does not know me, my name is Robert Palowski. I'm a statewide activist, and I live at 12757 Chestnut here in Southgate, born and raised. Today, it has been a while since I've actually attended one of these meetings, but I actually wanted to attend one of these meetings after all the business I've been doing over the last 5 months. So for most of you that don't know, I've been actually working with our group of youth council students here in Wayne County, especially our new appointees, but also working on the state level as a political coordinator for the Michigan Democrat Party. So one of the things that I've learned as not just being a coordinator for our college Democrats here in the state is it brought me back to our grassroots, what I started doing from the ground up. Today, I wanted to kind of reflect on the 2023 victories that this state had to offer, but not just our state, our district, out of the state budget we received. We demolished the old bus lot on Burn Street near Northline. We've invested a brand new pool for our community to be able to use and our students to be able to have a brand new swim team at Anderson. And we made it to the playoffs last year. How was that for a Titans victory? It's just these little victories from little voices here in our district from our students that come in and day out, whether that's on sports teams, political clubs, and people like me that tend to get involved in their community by coming and being the only person here watching a school board meeting. It starts from grassroots. And one thing that I try to empower our generation on the state level, on the local level, and on the federal level is you have a voice here as a grassroots person by starting in volunteer work, but also making voices heard in your communities. That's why I joined the Wayne County Commission Youth Council. That's why I've been very vocal on this board for so many years, helping you campaign for the sinking fund, but also bringing our state to a playoffs run last year. We couldn't have done it with local voices, but also young voices, being a vocal advocate for our districts. Most of all, I want to thank the staff for all the amazing work they're doing to improve our district, especially Anderson, but also our new programs that we have in place, especially at North Point with the IB Elementary program. I'm glad to see all the progress coming in, reflecting on 2023, but it's time to go back in time and think of grassroots. Where did we get? How did I start? But also, where can we improve? And trust me, we're on the right track, and Southgate is too. Thank you for all the amazing investments, and I'm hopeful for 2024 being the best investments here yet to come for this city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak tonight? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public comment, and then I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda, which consists of minutes from January 16, 2024 board workshop and the January 23rd, 2024 regular meeting, HR update, and the January 2024 disbursements.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support?
Yes.
Supported by Mr. Lamas. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Brings us to the action agenda. First one is approval of the Anderson baseball team game and travel to Escanaba.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and have our athletic director come on up.
Sounds beat up.
All right, good evening. Eric Shamber, Southgate Anderson. I'm here tonight seeking your approval for an overnight field trip request for the Anderson baseball program. Varsity team would like to travel to Escanaba from May 2nd through May 5th. During this time, they would play 4 games, 2 doubleheaders, one against Gladstone, one against Escanaba. This particular trip will be funded through the activities account of the baseball program, funds that they've raised through various fundraising activities. The travel will be made passenger van, and it will not cost the district any resources.
Any questions for staff? This thing being played indoors or snow on the ground in May up there?
Yeah, we're hoping for nice weather.
Okay, all right. Seeing no questions for staff, we'll bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 1.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Anderson baseball team game and travel to Escanaba as presented.
Okay, a motion by Dr. Pomponio, is there support? Support. Supported by Mr. Sage. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Thank you. Second item is approval of the JROTC trip to Fort Custer Training Center.
Hello, everyone. Kendall Fcker. I am here tonight to seek your approval of what sounds like a really good time. It's the JROT overnight field trip to Fort Custer Training Center in Augusta, Michigan. This is June 8th through 13th. While they're there, they'll be participating in fun camp excursions like rappelling and canoeing, but they're also going to be developing their leadership and communication skills because the students who attend this trip are allowed to serve on staff positions at the JROTC at the high school. So again, this is June 8th through 13th. They will be traveling by a government-issued van, and the funding for this all comes from the U.S. Army Cadet Command Center.
Any questions for staff? It's a nice part of the state.
I know.
Okay. All right, seeing no questions, we'll bring the discussion back to the board and entertain a motion on action item number 2.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the JROTC trip to Fort Custer Training Center as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio, is there support? Support. Supported by Mr. Green. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Thank you. All right, number 3, approval of the Anderson Gym basketball and volleyball systems and wrestling room renovation. Mr. Hardy.
Good evening, Jason Hardy, Director of Operations. I'm here to ask for approval for the Anderson High School, Davidson Middle School, partial interior renovations. The renovation includes portions of Anderson High School and Davidson Middle School. Improvements include new carpeting in Anderson main office and counseling office, along with interior painting. Also, new carpeting in Davidson's Media Center and new paint in the Media Center as well. New doors and hardwares in the Anderson High School gym. New electrified remote-controlled basketball backboards and hoops for the Anderson High School gym. New sleeves, posts, face plates for volleyball in the Anderson High School gym. New athletic wall padding, paint and drywall for the upstairs high school wrestling room. We received multiple bids. Option 1, the Summit Company proposed to do the work, all included, for $268,115. Option number 2 was a next qualified bid. We had other bids, but they were not qualified. They were missing information. So option 2 was from Decima LLC for a total of $565,700. With option number 1, the Summit Company, the Corrigan moving to relocate the books and shelving in Davidson's Media Center, the architectural fees and owner contingency. It is our recommendation the Board of Education approve the Summit Company for a total not to exceed $334,171 to be paid through the bond funds. I've attached letters of recommendations, references, and testimonials for the Summit Company, all in your bid pack, or all in the package for you to take a look at. Questions? Yes.
So I don't know if it's in this packet or not, or this portion of the bond work, but I know in Davidson, their offices, and I took a tour not too long ago, and their main office is in need of a lot of updating, and the furniture is really old too, so I was just wondering if this is included in that, or if it's in another bond.
It is not included in this package currently.
Okay, so this is gonna be work done at the Anderson?
And Davidson Media Center, they're getting all brand-new carpeting and paint in the whole media center. The carpeting's outdated. We're gonna put carpet squares in there. And all the books and bookcases have to be removed and reinstalled as
Okay.
well.
I mean, the reason why I ask is because I know the high school, that's been renovated a couple times. I've seen it updated, so I didn't know what timeline is for Davidson, and if that's in our near future site for Davidson, because I'd like to see more happening at Davidson too.
Yes, these improvements have been waves, where we are taking on more and more work as we are identifying it. The Anderson High School office area had been identified last summer, and it's just now getting to a point where we can get that scheduled. We're not done identifying all the areas in the district that need support, and we do know that the Davidson office area needs it as well. So within the next year, you'll probably see something there as well.
Okay, that sounds good, and thank you for all the letters of recommendation. That's really supportive. I like to see that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
I do want to, I'm
Hang
sorry,
on.
I just want to highlight that this renovation will give the main gym 2 side courts for both volleyball and basketball. And that is something that Anderson Gym has not had to date. So this will give 2 teams an opportunity to practice at the same time, which is going to be a very big opportunity and relief, I think, to coaches who are always trying to find time or ways to schedule their team into the gym. So this will really help.
Mr. Lomas?
Yeah, I'm sure you noticed the huge differences between option 1 and option 2. And
Yes.
Almost, I mean, you could guess about a lot of things, like they didn't really even understand the quote.
Well, there was more bids, and the numbers were in the middle, but they weren't qualified, so they're missing some of the familiar disclosure. There's stuff we couldn't accept their proposals the way they stood. So on a spectrum, yes, it's almost double when you look at it, but I feel comfortable. I did the post-bid interviews. They've included everything in the bid. I've even asked for the subcontractors they're using for the basketball backboards, and it's contractors we had out looking at the project prior to the bid, so they're fully aware of the scope of work, and I feel very confident they're going to get the job done right.
Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Paponi?
Wait, one more question. So with the remote and the backboard, all high-tech, is there a warranty on it? And if so, I mean,
Yes. There's manufacturer warranty. We did spec, I don't have the warranty in front of me for the backboards, but the standard is 5 years. But they will turn over all the warranties to us in a closeout document. So if we have problems with it, we can call the company direct and they'll come and do any of the repairs.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 3.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Anderson Gym basketball and volleyball systems and wrestling room renovation as presented
Okay.
for a total cost not to exceed $334,171.
We have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Lamas. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Brings us to action item number 4, approval of the Granger Guaranteed Maximum Price Proposal for the 2024 renovations at Davidson Middle School and Anderson High School.
Good evening. Gary Kent with Plant Moran Rail Point, here to present the contract award recommendation for the 2024 renovations project, Granger Guaranteed Maximum Proposal, that's a tongue twister, at Davidson Middle School and Anderson High School. This letter transmits an update from Plant Moran Rail Point as it relates to the assignment to assist and advise Southgate Community Schools in its evaluation of Granger's guaranteed maximum proposal for the renovations. It was a mutual effort of Plant Moran Rail Point, the Southgate Community Schools Administration and staff, and the legal counsel to present this framework. In 2023, in November, the steering committee presented the Granger construction proposed staffing plan for the 2024 renovations, and that was approved. In January, we came back and presented the 2024 renovations board packet, which was the amount of $6,538,830. That was also approved, and both of those award recommendations are included in this guaranteed maximum price proposal. The total GMP proposal from Granger Construction, which includes their construction personnel, CM general conditions, CM contingency, contractor general conditions, allowances, bonds, insurance, and fees, is the amount of $8,435,168. Again, some of these items were already approved by the board. This just ultimately increases Granger's contract for the amount of $8,435,168 as their guaranteed maximum price for these renovation projects. The only additional items that weren't already approved are their general conditions, which are outlined on page 23 and 25 of this packet, the construction manager fees, bonds, and insurance, and the construction contingency, which are found on page 22 and so forth. So general conditions obviously are things such as cleanup, construction trailers, porta-johns, et cetera, that they'll need to operate and maintain the project throughout the summer and spring. They're actually beginning construction next week. There's a detailed schedule provided on page 20 that kind of outlines where they're going to be anticipated for the duration of this summer. And there's a couple attachments as well as Granger's GMP letter dated February 1st. Any questions on Granger's GMP proposal?
Excuse me, is there a reason why it's added later from the first initial approval?
Yeah, they wanted to finalize their CM fees, and I mean, typically in the past, we've actually done it at the same time. This one, there was a lot of changing, whether it was alternates that they needed to incorporate or not, so it was done a little bit later. We had some negotiations with Granger on their CM fees. One of us wanted to be higher, one of us wanted to be lower, so we got that down from where it was originally, which is why there's actually 2 revisions for their GMP, but ultimately we landed on this amount for that, for the project.
Thank you.
I don't seem to have this attachment.
I don't have the link either, that's what I was trying to.
So the link will be on, if you go to the website, you have to go to the website for the current one. It wouldn't have been in the email, it'll be. if you
Yeah,
go
I
to the
apologize.
website,
We
you
had a
can-
version of the agenda that went to you first, and we caught afterwards that Granger needed to have this on this agenda because our next meeting's not until March. So when we actually did the posting and sent it out, we added that agenda item because we weren't at that point too late and didn't have to add it as an amendment. So I apologize for any confusion that may have brought. The posted version does have that piece on that. I should have alerted you guys to that. I apologize.
How many years do we have with Granger? Is this our last year with Granger?
They're contracted through 2025.
2025. okay.
Yes, but all of their pre-con and staffing is through the end of this year, and all their pre-construction is actually already negotiated. So we have their pre-construction for next year's projects already awarded. So the only thing that we'd have to come back for is their staffing for next year's renovations.
Okay. Do you guys want a minute to take a look?
You know what, I'll just abstain for now.
As will I.
Well, unfortunately, you can't abstain without a conflict. I mean, we can take a minute and you can look at it, but
Yeah,
I can't.
Much
Yeah.
rather do that than.
Yeah.
I have another version if they want to share it.
This is the same thing. Here's the other copy.
So I sent them out.
Oh, you got 2. Thanks, dude.
So it didn't get caught, and so. Website.
These are all the projects that we had already planned
Right.
beforehand, right?
Yep.
Right. But this is, we didn't add anything on from our contingencies or additional
Correct. So
funds or
before the
anything.
projects were awarded, basically that would kick off Granger to award contracts to the subcontractors. This is just increasing Granger's guaranteed maximum price, because we're gonna cut them one check, and then they would cut the checks to all the subcontractors.
Right.
So
Their direct amount is the CM, what they're pulling out of.
Correct,
That
yeah.
cut,
So
yeah.
we're not doubling anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And their CM costs subtotal, okay, so there's the total, 8,435,000.
Yeah, the 8,435,000 number would be their guaranteed maximum price for Granger's contract.
All right.
And that has subcontractor contracts.
Yes, yeah, the subcontracts is currently $6,538,830 already awarded. Anticipated amount of $750,000 for the civil package, and then all of their GCs, CM staffing, CM fees and bonds.
So
and
that's a
insurance.
small part of the 8 million is there.
Correct, I
GM.
don't have the total in front of me, but
I mean,
we're talking
a million.
600,000 out of the 8 million.
Okay. You guys have more questions? We can wait again.
This is just basically a not to exceed number.
Right, and we've already awarded the
Right, with
the
the civil.
subcontractor
Right,
amounts,
right.
and the civil amount, I think we already awarded too, didn't we?
Correct, it's an allowance amount of
Yeah,
750,000.
yeah, we've already done the civil amount, so this is just the balance of it, and then, but it all goes to them, and then they pay out what we've already approved. Everybody's comfortable? Okay, all right, bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 4.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Granger Guaranteed Maximum Price proposal for the 2024 renovations at DMS and Anderson High School as presented for a total cost not to exceed $8,435,168.
Okay, a motion by Dr. Pomponio, is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Green. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Action item number 5, approval of the food service walk-in coolers for Anderson High School and Davis Middle School. Boy, we're getting everybody here tonight, aren't we? Just going right on around.
Good evening, Mark Rodriguez, Food Service Director. What I'm requesting is the replacement of our walk-in coolers at Davidson and Anderson. I don't know what year they were built, but I can tell it's probably original when they built the buildings. The doors on the refrigerator are like this thick. Back when they used to make doors that thick, they don't make them that way anymore. But the food service budget is able to purchase this equipment, so it will not come out of the general fund. Several years ago, food service wasn't in the position to do all these renovations, and so we are in a good position now. You know, we bought the vehicle not too long ago, and we replaced the ovens and the warmers at the elementary schools. So this is the next priority. One of the hinges at Anderson, you can't even find parts for the door. So it's just time. So what we decided to do was, we have an area that we can add a walk-in refrigerator freezer and shut down what we currently have and turn that into dry storage. The consultant was a little concerned about what we might run into when we start tearing up the floors. If we were to use the existing area, we could run into asbestos. There's a lot of disaster stories that they can tell you, but we have area to put the new walk-in refrigerator freezer. And so actually at Allen, I noticed that they did that years ago. They had a refrigerator and they turned it into a storage area now, and they have a walk-in refrigerator freezer today. So it would be a similar situation.
Questions for staff? Dr. Pomponio.
Hello. So at Anderson, so we've never replaced the walk-in coolers or the refrigeration there?
It's built it's part of the structure of the building. No, it's the original.
Okay, and is there an inventory of all the equipment that we're purchasing? Because I thought it was refrigeration that we got for Anderson. And I don't know if it was.
I'm sorry.
I thought it was either that or the ovens, I'm not sure, but that's why I like to know if there's an inventory.
We have to keep inventory of our assets, absolutely. And the refrigerator you might be referring to possibly is like what they call, just open the door. This is actually walking into the room and refrigerated, the compressors running. So you walk into the refrigerator and you take several steps, and then there's another door to the walk-in freezer.
Okay, so did we purchase a stand-up refrigerator?
I'm
or
sure we
something?
did, yeah.
Okay,
I
because
can't remember.
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, so yeah, that would be just a regular reach-in, but this is more big time.
Yeah, yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Ms. Wilson, so this not only does it get paid for by food service, we have to spend food service money on upgrades, right? Like, we don't,
We
We
have
can't just
excess
keep
fund
banking it.
balance, so we have a certain amount that we have to spend
yeah. So
down.
as a requirement, we have to
Yes.
start spending that down, so we gotta find good fiscally responsible projects to spend that on, and this looks like one, so.
Yeah, so we have money to pay for this. And then we're asking for a 10% leeway allowance for, we have to cover the roof and the electrical and any unforeseen things that might come up.
Yep.
Hopefully, not too much.
So if we start digging up, because it's an older building, if we start the project and you start getting into the flooring and doing the work, if there is asbestos, do we have to replace like something else, like a larger portion to come into, to get up to code? Or is it grandfathered in some
yeah.
way?
That's why he's not gonna, they're not gonna tear into it, just in case of that.
So I hope, Mark, with this project, we're gonna leave in place, take the doors off, and it's gonna be a room, so you walk in. So we're not gonna disturb the old refrigerator or freezers. We're building new across the room or even beside it, at one of them. So we're not, there's floor drains and everything else. If you start removing
Okay.
them, then we're gonna have to take up the quarry tile in the kitchens. We're leaving that all alone. The drains are gonna stay put. We're not gonna disturb it. We're taking the doors off, so it's just, you're walking into a room then, and not
Okay.
the fridge or freezer anymore. We're demoing the compressors. I hope, Mark, with the allowance for the roof repairs and the electrical, to run the new electrical to the new walk-ins as well. So we're comfortable that we're gonna leave these alone and use them for dry storage or put racks in there. And then he's gonna have the new ones.
Okay, that sounds good. It's just that I can't really tell without being
Right,
there.
right.
I'm just wondering, within that scope of work, if there happens to be something, would you have to tear it all out and do something
If you
bigger?
disturb it, then you have to abate if there is asbestos. So we're leaving it alone and making them a storage room and
Okay.
putting racks in there.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? All right, seeing none, bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 5.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of the food service walk-in coolers for Anderson High School and Davidson Middle School as presented, for a total cost not to exceed $135,311.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support? Support. Support by Mr. Green. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. And the last action item is number 6, approval of the policy package 24-1.
Yes, at our last meeting, we had a first read. These are several policy pieces, paragraphs and sections that pertain to teacher assignment as well as evaluation and leaves of absences. The terms and the language that has been added or adjusted conforms the language to the practices that currently exist. So we wanted to make sure, as we move into the next phase of evaluation, reform, and so on and so forth, that we have our current practice very firmly embedded in policy as that starting point. So it is here before you to approve at this time.
Any questions for staff? All right, seeing none, we'll bring the discussion back to the table and entertain a motion on action item number 6.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve policy package 24-1 as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Lamas. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Brings us to the last item on the agenda, which is the motion to adjourn. So I'll entertain that motion right now.
Mr. President,
Mr. Green.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Green. Is there support? Support by Ms. Angel. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.